Okay, so I had the opportunity of remodeling the stairs going down to my basement, and as you can probably read from the title, I jumped at this opportunity. I could show you the before and after, but instead I wanted to show you the before and the inspiration. And then take you on the journey. The little backstory is that these steps were not a favorite. When my dad first moved in, they were essentially just tolerated, and because they had carpet running along them, and they were the entry point from all the elements outside, they weren't exactly thought of as a point to maintain a ton. Each step had carpet alongside a board being nailed to the back, which also had carpet running down it. What I wanted to accomplish from this project is to almost have it seem like floating stairs, as I've been told that the structure does have to stay the same. The finished product needs to include rubber stair treads, it needs to be easy to clean, and the budget is not going to be through the roof. This is my inspiration. And this is my color palette. Black, a light gray, and just a general wood tone. Oh, and those treads I was talking about. With all that being said, we do have to start with the deconstruction, aka the demolition. So to start out, it doesn't go all the way through, it actually stops here. And it has a board and then carpet, which I have to rip out. That's gonna be a thing in itself. So for safety purposes and just general purposes of cleanliness, I wanted to clean out the entire behind of it and put a sheet over everything so nothing gets ruined or tripped over, etc. And with a really crappy broom, I took out all of the cobwebs. Only cobwebs, no spider webs, and no spiders were harmed in the making of this video. Upon cleaning back here, I also noticed that they actually had two extra, I'm going to call them pillars of support, which are these right here, which were not only nailed into the backboard, or the board of it, but also into the railing. They definitely done what they were supposed to do, although with that being said, it was time to take them down for a brief moment, give them a little vacation pay, you know? My first plan of attack on this project was actually originally going to be just to use the crowbar to lift up the edges of the pieces of wood and then come in with a crowbar and hammer duo to kind of add a little bit more firepower into it, but shockingly enough, the crowbar actually worked just by itself, alongside, of course, some good old-fashioned elbow grease, blood, sweat, and tears. And then I casually hit on every surface I possibly could have. As I said, every possible surface. Alright, so my first plan of attack, because now I've got all of the wooden pieces that were used as extra structures off of the back, is to basically just push this as hard as I can, see if that'll do it. Not sure, but hopefully. Didn't work. It was then that I thought maybe the nails in the back of this were small, but maybe they were mighty, and maybe those ones were the ones that were keeping this all together. So I spent about 25 minutes just taking those out. Alright, that one worked. Nice. Time to bring out the little guns. And as it turned out, that still wasn't all that was holding it. What is holding you? Cue me losing my mind in 3, 2, and then actually trying to use my feet to kick it out. And you guys remember my plan for the carpet? Well, that didn't go as planned either. Do you guys see this? The carpet is literally just coming out. Oh my god! Oh my god. Which means that they just put... Oh my god. Okay. What? I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but this carpet that's in here, it's not put all the way through. It's just put in little sections. The rest is just wood. Oh my god. Now with that being said, I can't tell you whether or not this made the project harder or easier, but I definitely did have to take a different approach to it. And alongside getting rid of old carpet in an old house is all the old stuff that used to be in the carpet. This includes, but is not limited to, dirt, change, pens, pencils. Did I mention dirt and dust? Ugh. This pen fell from the stairs, taking out the carpet, and now I just use this pen to take out the carpet. Full circle! All the little treasures. Then I tried to take it from the back. That's what he said. And you can probably guess how well that worked. Luckily, my dad came home and we were able to bounce some ideas off each other. And I can't figure out how this is staying in place. Like, it's not stable. Everything that comes in here, like all the nails on here, they're only nailing in.
Okay, so stay there and let me push on it from the other side here. See if you can see anything. So let's do this together.
It sounds so dangerous when you walk. What's going on?
Trying it loose.
Just, yeah. Push it.
Push it real good. Yeah. It's up here, it's just pinched here.
Yeah, well, it's also pinched here too. Oh, I'm so close! Yeah! High five! And then, of course, one last time, gotta clean up that dust. If you are also doing something similar to this, I would definitely check out your area's bylaws on getting rid of certain pieces of... All I was doing with this was wrapping up the carpet and then putting some duct tape around it to really just keep it together, and then garbage. Oh yeah, didn't I say that was the last time cleaning up the dust and the dirt? Yeah, not even close. That was the end of day 1, now we're on to day 2. Welcome. Day 2 consisted of going from stair to stair to stair and pulling up each of the pieces of carpet from there, also having to deal with way too much of my safety goggles fogging up because of the mask that I was wearing. I just new respect for all the people wearing masks during this pandemic. The majority of these were really easy to pull out because all of the staples or nails that had been put into them to keep them down were definitely past their prime. A couple of them were a little bit more difficult, to which I just had to pull a little bit harder. I know you guys can't actually hear the sound, but it was incredibly satisfying to actually rip these up. So I did decide to keep a couple clips in here for use to kind of just share the wealth of the crackle. Away from the staple that was still on the stairs, I went over that with my glove because a lot of them had been broken obviously from me ripping off the carpet, so I just went through with some pliers and I took out as many as I could. Again, you gotta clean up your area of debris, dust, dirt, whatever. You can tell just by how I look that it's been a long day of DIYing. Whew, my knees. Now, if you are going on from one paint color to the next, one thing you do have to keep in mind is that you do have to take off one of the colors, which is going to be done by sanding. So I'm putting up a drop sheet right now just to keep all the sanding remnants, I'm going to call them. Anything that basically comes off during the sanding process is going to be condensed into one specific area rather than dust flying everywhere. As this was my first project, which I actually used a sander rather than just sandpaper, I will say the things that I found that worked the best for me was going in a circular motion with it, so you're not spending too much time in one specific area. The older the wood is, the softer it's going to be, as well as if it's wood that gets stepped on a ton, so be mindful of your pressure that you're using. And that leads me to saying, unless you're using one of your hands to keep stabilized, I found using both of my hands while sanding was the best way to gain and keep as much pressure as possible in the right areas. Oh, and also if you are going to be working on stairs, go from top to bottom so that you're stepping down each step rather than going over with your feet what you just went over with your sander. Now, yes, they do still have paint on them, but the sanding has given them a texture that other paints or primers will now stick to. Now, the last step before cleaning was to take this board out so that it too can be sanded and then painted. And of course, have all of those nails that you can so vividly see be taken out. But besides that, the last step is going to be to clean up your area as per usual. Thus, we make it to the end of part 1, aka the dismantling of the stairs, and obviously cleaning. Join me next time for, well, part 2, which is going to be the reconstruction.